What's up, Infected, and welcome to the Quarantine. Today I'm going to be taking a look at a small game by the name of Archmage. Now, Archmage is coming to Kickstarter, so if you like what you see in this review, I'll have a link up in the corner here that'll take you directly to that Kickstarter video. It'll provide way more information than I could possibly cover here in this video. I do also have to state that everything you see here, as you can tell by this bag, it is a prototype copy of the game for review purposes. So your product, if you do kickstart the game, is subject to, of course, change. So what is Archmage Origins? Well, Archmage Origins is an area control memory kind of game. So basically what you're going to be doing is you and your other opponents are trying to secretly look at the backs of these monsters that you're trying to summon to support yourself in a giant war. And you're trying to find where the strong ones are and then assign numbers to them. But then you're also allowed to move those cards around. So you kind of get that old school like memory where you flip over a card, flip over another card, and go, okay, well, that's where the 2 is, that's where the 5 is. Then you flip them over, and then you flip over 2 other cards. You go, oh, well, there's a 5. Where was that 5 earlier? You kind of get that going on with this, but you have the deception of, you know, I keep laying a card into this column, so is there really a strong monster there, or am I laying a bunch of small numbers there to throw off my opponents? And I know a lot of this doesn't make a whole lot of sense, so let's just go straight over to the overview. Alright, in a game of Archmage Origins, each player is going to choose whether they want to be the Demonologist, the Technomancer, which is blue, the Elementalist, which is yellow, and the Necromancer, which is green. You're going to choose your deck of numbered cards and one hold monster, and you're going to set out the map in a 4x4 grid. Now, the ultimate goal is to have the strongest military at the end of the game. Now, how do you do that? Well, on your turn, each player is going to look at one card first. So, for example, I will look at this guy here. If you look at him, you have the amount of points he's worth, and then you have any special abilities. So, for example, this guy is +1 value to the minion army if captured by the Technomancer. So if blue gets this card, he's actually a 2. So I put that down, and then you get to look at one additional card. So maybe I look at this one. So when I flip this over, he's got power 4. So he also has Kurzgul, I probably ruined that, can only be captured if the winning mage's mystical power is at least 2 points higher than the next closest power total. So, in order for me to get that, I have to at least be winning by 2. So what does that mean? Well, after you look at your 2 cards, you can then swap them if you'd like. So maybe I put them like this. And then you can first play your hold monster card. If you play that, you're going to play it face up, and you will take your hold monster token, and you'll put it on a card. So for example, I put it here. You'll put it on that card, and nobody else is allowed to look or move at that card unless something specifically says that they get to. Then, depending on how you're going to play, you're going to look at your hand of cards, and you're going to place it either one card in one of the 2 lanes that you're in. So if I'm sitting in this corner, I could place one card in one of these columns, or one card in one of these rows, but I'm limited to one card of my color in each one of these. Or the other type, or the other way you're allowed to play is I could put it in any one of these, but you're limited to 2 cards per area, just total, 2 cards in general. So I'm going to look in here, let's say I didn't play this, and I'm going to look around and I'm going to go, I really, really want this card, that card is really good, so I'm going to throw an 8 down here, and you're going to put it face down so nobody else can see. And then at that point, your turn is over. When it goes to the next player, that next player can look at one of these 2 cards if they want, but not both. So throughout their turn, maybe this player looks over here and goes, all right, I got this guy, he does blah, blah, blah. But then I will also look at this guy. All right, that's 2 4s right here. So maybe green is going to drop their 8 right here as well. So that way their 8 covers that entire row. My 8 covers this. And I'll get to what that means momentarily. But the game is going to continue around like that until all of your cards have been played. Now keep in mind, you have 8 cards, and I could place 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 in this way of playing, or of course 2 per, which should allow every spot to be fully filled with cards. Now, there's a couple unique style of cards. You've already seen monsters, but then you also have spells. Now spells, they have quite a bit of text on them, but they're fairly self-explanatory about what they do. So for example, the teleport, you discard this card and replace it with a card from the exploration deck, which are these. So this would go here. And then it says next, pick up the replacement card and the monster cards that are adjacent to it diagonally, except the card that is under a hold monster token, shuffle them and put them face down. So let's say this was actually right here. So what's going to happen is all 4 of these will get picked up. You're going to shuffle these up and then throw them back down, and that could have horribly screwed up somebody's plan. So let's go to how the end of the game works. Alright, so this should be within reason what the end of your game would look like. So when the last card is played, then everybody's going to flip over every card on the game. So due to the magic of editing, I'll just do that right now. Now, once you've flipped over all the cards on the battlefield, you're going to try to determine who has the most claim on each monster card by card. So you're going to start up here, and we look at this monster, and we're going to see that red has 7 points. They have a 2 here and a 5 here. So they have 5 points in this column, 2 points in this row, giving them 7 points on this one. Blue also has 7 with the 3 down here and a 4 over here, giving them 7. However, green has a 7 here and a 6 here, giving them 13 points on this, but yellow has a 6 and an 8 over there, giving them 14 points. So then you're going to look on this and +1 value if the minion army is captured by an elementalist. So this is actually worth 2 points because yellow is who won this with 14 points. So they're going to put this in front of them, and then you're going to continue to do that with every single one of these cards. However, if you notice, we still have some spells out here. These obviously aren't worth anything, so you can go ahead and take these and just set them aside. After that, you're going to determine who gets what monsters. So if, hypothetically, this is what red has, at the end of the game, red has 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 points, plus any bonus points that these would award if the demonologist gets points for having them. At the end of the game, whoever has the most points wins, and that is how you play Archmage Origins. Alright, Archmage Origins. Well, overall, yes, I really enjoy Archmage Origins. It's got this really cool subtlety to it. I don't even know how else to say it. Where if I find this really cool card, do I put my whole monster token on it, and then do I drop a bunch of cards in that column and in that row so I can make sure I get that card? Or am I using that to my advantage and putting it on a really crappy monster and putting, my low number in that column and that row in order to trick my opponents to using their big cards in that, so it's easier for me to steal other cards? And so that's really, really cool. I really like how the game does that. However, the one complaint, the one big complaint that we had, which is a core part of the game that also actually makes it really fun, is what's going to turn this game off for a lot of people. Now, I like this aspect of it because it adds another layer of strategy. And what am I talking about? I'm talking about where you get to, after I look at my 2 cards, I can swap them. And that's pretty cool. But sometimes it's really hard to follow what the heck's going on. So the way you could think about it is those old school memory games when you were a kid, where, how I mentioned you flip over a card, no, there's the 5, well, where was that other 5? But now you factor in those cards are all moving all over the place, and it's so freaking hard to remember where some of those monsters are. So some people are going to get to the point, about half the people I played this with, halfway through the game, they're just putting down cards, whatever. They couldn't remember where anything was anyways. But that's both a negative and a positive. Like, I really like that fact. But maybe it should be limited to, you could do it twice a game or something. But the fact that you can do it every single turn, and if everybody is constantly switching and swapping cards, it winds up becoming next to impossible to really keep track of it. But like I said, That doesn't mean it's a bad thing. It's just not going to be for everybody. It's going to be a big turnoff for some people. Now, one complaint that was almost universal is the fact that the endgame scoring is so time-consuming. It takes, for example, about 30 minutes, maybe 45 minutes, give or take, to get through a 4-player game. It took almost 10 minutes just to get through, okay, I have this much, you have this much, I have this much, she has this much. Okay, well, you get this card. Okay, what about this one? So I have this much, and you do that for each card. It takes like 10 minutes. So that's like 1/3 of the game time is just in in-game scoring. So overall, yes, I definitely recommend Archmage Origins. It's a good, fun little game. It's pretty light. It has its problems, much as every game does. But honestly, if these are the extent of its problems, sign me up. I mean, the endgame scoring brings it down a little bit, but it's not that big of a deal. The game is still enjoyable. It's still challenging. You're still looking at each other like, why are you gunning so hard for that? And so it's good fun. Anyways, that is my review for Archmage Origins. I definitely recommend it. So I hope you enjoyed the show. I'll see you guys next time in the Quarantine.